I'm going to show you how I do a rehearsal track, a sing-along, but this is on a Mac, not a Windows PC, and so it might be different if you're using Windows. And I use a program for the audio called Amadeus Pro, which is this one, so I'm going to open that up first. Now this is assuming that the arrangers have sent the audio files as MP3, so there should be several files for each voice. Let me minimize that for now. So here's one I just did for low res. So they sent, ignore the ones that are marked SLONG, they sent the 4 parts, tenor 1, tenor 2, baritone, bass and piano, and the sheet music. So what I'm going to do is take one of the parts, for example the bass part. I can do this in several ways. I can actually just do right click and say open with Amadeus Pro rather than what I opened originally, and there you have a stereo audio of the bass part of Dancing in the Street. Now I've got my headphones plugged into the computer so that if I play this it will only be heard through the headphones. This is important because when you start singing you don't want the piano part to be heard with your singing voice. I'll explain that a bit later. So what I do is, first of all, I make this into a mono track rather than a stereo track. So I do Command or Control All, and then tracks, convert track to mono. Okay, so there you have, and you have record, play, and over here you have front right, front left, which is basically all I use when I split the tracks between left and right. So you have, eventually you'll have the voice part in the left ear and the piano in the right ear. But for now you've got your mono track. Now all you need to do, the reason why I do it this way is, well, I won't go into detailed explanation, is when I now press record and make a recording, the new track, the recorded track, will also be in mono, which is what I want, to be able to split the front left, front right. So what I'm going to do now is, this is on pause. You can see that the microphone is working. The microphone is plugged in. I didn't mention that. Microphone is plugged into the computer. So when I click on this button, the record button, it will start recording my voice. But because I have this in the computer on my headphones, I will be hearing the backing track while I sing. But when I sing it, the microphone is only going to pick up my voice because I've got the headphones on. So should we just do an example? So I'm going to press record. Now you might be able to hear the music through the headphones which are lying on the desk. It's not disastrous if you hear that, but it's better if there's as little background noise as possible. And there's the part that's been accentuated, which is the bass part. So I would learn this, I would run over it a few times, and then I would sing it straight in over the top like this. Okay, so once I've done this, I would sing it all through with mistakes from beginning to end. I would ignore the mistakes, and then when I finished the whole track, I just stop the recording. Here it is. Of course it's shorter because I haven't waited to do the whole song. And so you've got this track, which is the MP3 that was sent from the arranger with the piano and the accentuated voice, the bass. and you've got this, which is your vocal part, which if I was to play this together now, you would hear voice part and the MP3 together. And you can see here that both tracks are checked for play. If I was to uncheck this one, you would just hear the voice on its own, which is what I use later when I save some tracks, but I'll show you that. For now, I want to show you how I do corrections. So I would record the whole song, sing it in with mistakes, then I would play it back, listening for the mistakes, and then when there's a mistake, what I do is if I can't get to it very well, I will, using the horizontal zoom, I will stretch out the track, and of course that will involve both tracks are stretched, so they're still in synchronized with each other. And then I would take out the incorrect one, so I just highlight this with the mouse. I do effects, and I do generate silence. I don't do delete, because if I do delete, that's going to take out a chunk of the song, which will make it too short and it won't sync anymore. So basically you don't want to delete chunks in your corrections, you just want to do it again. So I'll make that first a silence like this, so it's still the same length, which is important. Then I would start the recording somewhere where I can jump in. I would do another little record, and then I would sing over the top when I get to this bit. So then this bit has been redone in a new track, because I've pressed record. That's going to come out as another mono track underneath this one. So let me stop this. Okay, so for example, that was way too long, but say this was my correction. Now, of course, if you don't like it, you just click edit, undo, record sound. You do it again. If I like it, what I can do, because these are mono tracks now, and they're all on front, this won't work if you've already put this on, changed it from front to front right or front left. For some reason, I don't know why, but they have to be on front. Now what I do is I want to merge the amended track into what I call my master track, which is the full song which I've recorded, which is easy on Amadeus Pro, because I go tracks and it says merge with previous track. Now you don't need to do this. I could leave it as this, but then as I go on correcting mistakes, each time I record, it's going to create another mono track, and you're going to have this stack of tracks one on top of the other, which is possible, and it doesn't really change the sound or anything, but I just find it easier once I've corrected a mistake, I do merge with previous track, and then it's in this track, and then I can move on. I listen to it, check it, and then I move on through the song, correcting in the same way until I've completed the whole song. I'm happy with how it sounds with the backing track, and then once that's all finished, I've got my completed backing song on top of the backing track. I then just click on, I usually do front right for the piano and Sibelius part, and for the voice I do front left, and then I will save it. Now what I do, again, this is just for what I do, is I'll save this, save as, I will save it. Okay, well, let's make a new folder, just say demo SLONG. So this was the original desktop folder. I've made another folder, which in this case demo SLONG. I've got the name of the track here that I'm recording. And I'll probably change this. I'll say this is SLONG, and I'll also say, you'll see why, MP3, and I'll put the bass at the beginning so I know which part it is. and make sure this is MP3 in the format, and then I'll save. It always gives me this, and then you'll see that it's exporting bass, Dancing in the Street, SLONG as an MP3, which will be this part and this part on top of each other as normal. So when I play that track, you'll actually hear both, because both have been saved together. Now what I do is I can uncheck this one, so when I save it, it'll only save the voice part on its own. So I'm going to save that as a voice part on its own. So I just change SLONG MP3 to voice, so I know that it's just the voice part. MP3 again, format, in the demo SLONG or whatever folder you want. Save it. I save that document. Now I do one more save with both parts as a backup in case anything goes wrong. So recheck this. You don't have to do it in this order, but this is the order I do it in. Now I'm going to save the file again, identically like the first one, except, so I write here SLONG. I'm not going to put MP3 at the end of this. Oops, sling, that's not what I want. Because I'm going to save it as an AIFF one, and that's pure, oh, here's an aeroplane going overhead. That's purely because if I was to, well, I'll show you. I'll save it as an AIFF, and it goes much quicker. That was boom, bam. Now I can close this. Now the reason why I do that is if I go into the demo SLONG, I'll have my 3 tracks that I've just saved. If I open the SLONG MP3, you see how, yes, it's come out. Actually, I could do it this way. I'd have to, it's come out as one track merged together. They're not separate. So if I want to work on one of these, it's really hard. Say it crashed, or I listened to it again and thought, oh shit, that bit I should have corrected and I forgot. You probably, I'm just trying this out now, you could probably say split to 2 mono tracks. And then, yeah. And then you've got front left, front right. They've actually reversed for some reason. That's obviously the voice part, because we knew that, because as a demo I did it shorter. And there's the Amadeus. But, okay, they'll probably ask me to save it. Yes, I can save it. But if you open the AIFF file, where is it? Which just says SLONG and no MP3. Oh, it's exactly the same. Well, okay, so I've learned something new today. I don't need to save it like this. And then again, I would say split it to 2 mono tracks, and then the same thing would apply. Okay, so I don't need to do that anymore. Learn something new every day. Okay, and the voice part will just be, see, just the voice part as a mono track. Now, why I do that is once I've got all my voice parts recorded in the same format, so they've each got a SLONG MP3 and a voice part. Obviously now we've realized I don't need the AIFF backup. What I would do then is I would open the piano part to put all the parts on top of the piano part, so we get the full song and hear what it's like. So here I would pick up the piano part, I would make it into a mono again track, convert track to mono, and then I would say track, add new mono track. Now if there are 4 parts, I'd have to do that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are my 4 empty tracks, and then I would take my SLONGs from here, and I would just take each voice part only, not the full MP3, because we've already got the piano part here, which is just with no accented voice part. It's just a piano part, and then the voice parts will I'll just drag in, so wherever I want it, bass part here, and then line it up, baritone, tenor 2, tenor 1, etc. And then I'll have my 4 voice parts here, my piano part here, which is basically the full song with all the parts, and then you get the how it sounds. And then I would save that. Once that's all done, do save as, and I'd save it as an all parts, name of the song, SLONG MP3, and that's it. And then I would upload all those parts, so it would be 5 parts in total. It would be the full part with piano, which is this one, and then each of the individual voice parts marked SLONG MP3, which will be the voice part and the Sibelius file which the arranger sent, which has the piano and that voice part notes in it. So you have 4 voice parts with backings and a full song with just piano and the 4 voices on top of it. If I didn't do this and create a voice on its own, you would end up with, I think it becomes rather too boomy and mashy, that you've got the voice parts and all the Sibelius voice parts with the notes again on top of it, I think it just sort of sounds a bit messy and a bit artificial. So that's why I do it this way. Anyway, I hope that's clear. It's probably a lot because I went quite quickly. I won't say this one. But as I say, if you use Audacity, I don't know how much functionality that has. But you should be able to save as MP3, and I'm pretty sure you should be able to do mono tracks and do left and right. Anyway, good luck with that. Bye.